Wait, was that Oguri Cap having a little... Wait, I gotta find this. I have to. That... No! I missed it again! There we are! Can you see Oguri with her cheeks full of food and holding like 4 different hot dogs or something? I'm not too sure. They could be churros, but... Look at her! Oh my god, look at her with her little cheeks full. She looks like a chipmunk. The first video we are going to be watching is Symboli Rudolf, the Emperor of Umamusume. I know a lot of people have been enjoying my Umamusume reactions, especially the ones where it gives you the information on the real life horse. So let's buckle up and watch Symboli Rudolf's history. I'm so excited! Symboli Rudolf is somebody that I've been told to cosplay a lot as well, so if I like Symboli's story enough, I don't know, maybe we can do a little cosplaying as well.
The Ashen Beast of Kasamatsu, the Black Assassin, the Conqueror of the Century's End.
I've seen a lot of these stories. I have not seen Rice Showers because I know it would make me burst into tears. And I know a lot of people have been begging for me to react to Rice Shower's story. But the issue is, I know I would cry my eyes out relentlessly. And I don't know if I can cry my eyes out relentlessly on stream and also be like, thanks for the video. Because I would literally be brought to tears.
These are all titles given to some of Japan's most notable racehorses, solidifying their legacy long after their retirement, forever remembered in the world of horse racing. Nicknames are given to identify monumental victories.
I want to learn about Agnes Tachyon. I love the whole like crazy vibe that she has. Just even in her appearance alone, I know nothing about her, but oh my god, there's something about her. I love her design. I love her like crazy nature as well. It is so sick and I love it so much.
Victories or upsets that a horse achieved over the span of their career. For Oguri Cap, it would be the sheer amount of victories he displayed both in Kasamatsu and in graded races.
I didn't know just how many people adored Oguri Cap. I know this horse was major for the whole Japanese horse racing industry. I cannot find many videos on the whole thing, but you do not realize how much I want to learn about Oguri Cap. I'm probably going to do my own research when it comes to this horse as well, purely because I haven't been able to pull her in the game yet in Umamusume Pretty Derby, but there's something about her. She is just so cool and so badass.
For Rice Shower, it would be the major Triple Crown upsets against McQueen and Bourbon. And for TM Opera O, it would be the undefeated year of racing.
I love TM Opera O. Like, look at that animation. It is so pretty. I haven't watched this part of the anime yet, but oh my god, there's just something about it. I love the animation and all the speed lines and how instead of making them look really like, you know, hot, they made them look badass. I love it. I love how badass they are.
All of these titles hold significant weight.
Oh my god! Are they like all the horse girls? Oh my god, the horse girl amalgamation. That is terrifying.
One nickname displays a history of sheer dominance. Emperor. This title was given to a racehorse who would rival some of the strongest of his era and emerge victorious, claiming the title of a Triple Crown victor.
Imagine being called the Emperor. That is just so sick. Like, being called the Emperor? Man.
Racehorse, who in Umamusume is displayed as a calm and collected senior and the president of the student council, one who many look up to at Tracen Academy. This is the story of Symboli Rudolf.
I love the little white streak she has in her hair. I assume it's to mimic the actual horse because, you know, that's what we've seen so far. All of the horses, you know, mimic their umas and, you know, the other way around. So much aura, right? The amount of aura coming off of Symboli Rudolf, especially with her like green outfit as well. I know a lot of people have wanted me to specifically cosplay that outfit of hers. I'm not sure what it's called, but you know the one where it's green and it's almost like a blazer? That outfit of hers, it's It is giving aura.
The emperor who would seize
Like,
the
look at this, bro! She looks so cool! Oh my god.
crown. Symboli Rudolf raced between the years of 1983 to 1986, and at the time of his career, there would only be 3 racehorses given the Triple Crown title. These horses would be Saint Light in 1941, Shinzan in 1964, and Mr. CB in 1983.
That is so long ago. When they're speaking about this history, it's kind of hard to imagine. A lot of it is happening, you know, well before my time, in the 1980s. And back then, that was the 1940s. Like, some of these horses that are in the game, you know, a common one is Goldship's grandfather being Major McQueen. Seeing them in the game together and in the anime, you kind of forget the giant age difference between them and the fact that, you know, it was such a long time before each other as well. And not to mention the fact that they are related too. I love the general relationship between them both and the way that we see it in both the anime and the game as well. It is wonderful. But yeah, speaking of timing, it's crazy to think about. Like, especially considering there were only 3 that have had this title, it must have been so prestigious to have.
The one important thing to note before we dive into Rudolph's career is the introduction of the grading system first introduced in 1984. Graded races were created to identify the very
So this is kind of what we see in the game, I assume. There's the list where it goes from like your maiden race and it goes upward until, I'm trying to think. There's a big listing that kind of looks like this when it comes to your horse. I wonder if they're going to show it in the video as well, so it's a lot easier for you to see. So from each race, your horse will go up and up, and the more races that you win, the higher that you'll go on this scale. It probably mimics this in the game. Of course, it'll be different, but similar.
varying level of difficulty of each individual race. This evaluation, unsurprisingly, would also come with an increasing level of difficulty in terms of competitors.
Of course it would.
Graded races had originally started in Europe, with the European pattern race system being implemented in 1972. Following this, TOBA, or the Thoroughbred Owners and Breeders Association, would begin their own grading project in North America in 1973. This was in response—
Yeah, you play the game too, so you know what I'm talking about. I don't know what you would call it, but you know what I'm talking about. The little triangle where from race to race, the more fans your horse gets, the higher up the list they go.
to European request for a similar system to be established, and the first list of North American graded stakes were later published in 1974. In the years leading up to the implementation of the graded system, there wasn't a Triple Crown series. Instead, Japan had what was known as the 8 Great Races, or the Hachi Daikyo So. This set of races included the 5 Great Classics, these being the Oka Sho, Satsuki Sho, Tokyo Yushun—
I think we heard of this in another video. I think it might have been TM Opera Osk. I could be wrong, but I remember this coming up in the past.
Yushun Himba, and the Kika Sho. In addition, both the Spring and Autumn Tenno Sho as well as the Arima Kinen would be added to the series of great races. These were considered as the
Every time I think of the Arima Kinen, I think of Haru. Every single time, and I want to one day get her to win the Anima Kinen. One day I'm going to do it, and when I do, I'm going to show you.
prestigious races in Japan at the time. With the establishment of the new grading system, ranging from G3 to G1 races, that meant only one thing. New records could be set, and new legacies created. And that's where
this
our
outfit,
story—
you see what I mean, where I'm talking about
this could be set,
it
and
looking
new
like
legacies
kind of a green blazer and a green skirt. That is the one I would like to cosplay. I want to really bad. I think making it would be cool, but it also looks very complex.
created. And that's where our story begins. Symboli Rudolf was born on March 13, 1981, in the town of Mobetsu, Hokkaido. He was sired by Partholon and Sweet Luna. Luna was the daughter of Speed Symboli, a renowned Japanese racehorse who was the first ever to compete in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe.
Oh my goodness.
Symboli is in honor of the Symboli farm, which is where Rudolf was born.
Oh, that's
Rudolf
so
refers
sweet.
to Rudolf I, an early king of Germany.
Oh.
During the early years of Rudolf's life, he'd be trained and conditioned to participate in a newly established Triple Crown series.
Rudolph looks a lot smaller than the other horses. This one, compared to the others that we've seen, he looks a lot more lean, a lot smaller.
Alongside his trainer, Yuji Nohira. On July 23, 1983, Symboli Rudolf would take to the turf for the first time, participating in his debut race at the Niigata racecourse.
Is that him at the
front? Compared to the rest of Rudolf's career, this course was surprisingly short, being only 1,000 meters in total. Due to Rudolf's sire's lineage, this was a test of his racing capabilities. Partholon was an Irish racehorse, with those horses being better suited for short-distance sprint races. 1,000-meter courses are usually run with...
this helps a lot to see how long the course is. I'm trying to see. So, oh my gosh. I didn't realize how complex these are. Oh, so, okay, I've got it. The orange one is the dirt course. So that's for dirt racing. And the green one is the main course, the turf one. Which I'm assuming is most likely, the one that Symboli ran on. So, in, out, okay. I'm trying to see where they start. Oh, that's the 1,000-meter straight line. So I'm assuming that's where Symboli started running from. I'm trying to see where it would end, but I'm assuming somewhere... Not sure. It's a little hard for me to tell because I've never seen any race course before. I've never been to a horse race. I'm definitely considering doing it, but I want to make sure that the horse races near me are done in a manner where, it's as safe as possible for the horse and they're getting good treatment as well.
Either one corner in a final stretch, or over the course of a straight line, making it optimal for a display of Rudolph's capabilities. Rudolf would place first in this race, establishing a promising career to come.
I mean, you can see, look at his little legs go.
July till the end of the year, Rudolf would participate in 2 more ungraded races alongside his jockey, Yukio Okabe. These 2 races would be the Ichio Tokubetsu on October 29, 1983, and an open race held in Tokyo on November 27th of the same year. Rudolf would place first in these 2 ungraded races,
goodness me.
only further solidifying the possibility for...
Wow, first in every single one, going up from a distance of 1,000 to 1,600 as well. Look at the time, goodness me. Whoa. Oh, the jockey looks really sweet as well. Gotta go fast. Oh, it makes me really happy when I see horses doing well, but first in each is incredible.
For him to be a strong competitor in the years that followed.
Oh god, of course.
The open race that Rudolf attended in 1983 would also hold a great significance that would play a role in the future events of Rudolf's career. Originally, the plan was to enter Rudolf in the Asahi High Futurity Stakes, a major G1 stake-graded race for 2-year-old thoroughbreds. This is seen as a year-end championship for the 2-year-old...
I always forget that they tend to race between, is it 2 to 4 years old? Because some of these horses are living up to, 25, so it's really weird to think that they tend to only race during, kind of the first few years of their life. And the rest is normally spent in retirement as well. It's something I forget about, just how young they are when they're racing, because they look so strong.
Division in horse racing in Japan. Rudolf, by this point, definitely displayed the qualities to win this race. However, his owner had another plan in mind.
Oh?
The open race Rudolf participated in was held in Tokyo, and it just so happens to have landed on the same day as the Japan Cup in 1983.
Oh, the Japan Cup!
Rudolph's owners aimed to show visiting fans and racers alike the sheer strength that Rudolf had even at an early age. A display of confidence against some of the most fierce racers from around the world. This was during a period where Japanese racehorses were fighting to secure a victory against foreign competitors. making this declaration
A lot of animals grow up really fast. They do. Comparatively to us, absolutely. I know when I was younger, I used to love horses. I used to go horse racing. Sorry, not racing, riding. Goodness me. Slightly different. I used to absolutely love it. I went abroad once just to go horse riding. I really enjoyed it. I remember I always wanted a horse when I was younger. I think I went like every summer to this kind of like riding camp style thing. I loved doing it so much. I had my own horse riding hat and gear and everything. I forget about that a little bit. Not a horse racer. I was a horse rider. I never had my like own horse though. It was already like a borrowed horse, but I used to go to stables and be taught how to horse ride, and I loved it very much. And I feel like that's kind of an important part of myself that I haven't really said through these videos as well, is I grew up loving horses. I grew up drawing a lot of horses as well. When I was younger, I was extremely creative and I drew horses all the time. There was a point in time where I begged my dad every single day for a horse, and I then cried when he told me I couldn't have one. I bawled and I cried. To my father, and he was like, Leah, we can't afford a horse. And I was like, why not? I didn't understand the concept of money. I just knew that I loved horses. I have a lot of videos of me actually when I was younger riding horses as well. Lots of photos and everything. I remember I went to the Isle of Wight, which it's a tiny island like at the bottom of England. And I went there specifically to go and ride one of the horses that they had in a stable. And it was this giant indoor, I don't know if you call it a circuit when it comes to horses, but this giant racing area. And I did my first jumps there, and it was such a sweet little horse. It was very tiny, but also, I was tiny at the time as well. And honestly, okay, I am going somewhere with this. Symboli Rudolf visually reminds me of that horse that I rode on the Isle of Wight. Literally looks near identical to it, and it's crazy to me because they look so similar. And it was a memory that was kind of stuffed in the back of my mind. Oh, it is track. Okay. It's a memory that was very much so has been in the back of my mind. I loved riding that horse when I was there, and I remember being very sad when I had to go back home. I haven't ridden horses in a long time, but when I was younger, it was a giant thing that I used to do. I don't know how much I did it or how far I got, but I do know I had my own equipment and gear. So I assume I did it to a point where I did it pretty well, because a lot of people tended to hire stuff as opposed to buy it, but I loved horses so much. I feel as though if I were to have gotten a horse when I was younger, I would have taken up riding very extensively, but it's very expensive to do.
All the more risky for Rudolf. With this declaration of power, Rudolf would wrap up his first year of racing with 3 total races, placing first in each one.
Whoa.
The Japanese Triple Crown series is only available for 3-year-old thoroughbreds, so for Rudolf, his only opportunity would be in the year 1984.
That's crazy.
Before competing in the Triple Crown series, Rudolf first needed to qualify by winning a preliminary race. Due to this, he would enter to compete in the 1984 Yayoi show, which would be held on March 4th.
It's interesting how all these horses are like either brown or dark brown or black. Like there's no white horses here. Just found that really funny. Like I thought horse racing visually would be a little more diverse due to like sheer amount of different coats that they can have and everything.
The Yayoi show doesn't only act as a preliminary requirement for the Triple Crown series. but also is widely seen as a key trial race for the Satsuki show, bringing in a list of strong competitors. Among them was a horse named Baizen
Aww.
Nishiki, an undefeated racehorse who also had 3 victories under his belt.
Bro looks so strong. And then the tiny little legs. Mini little legs. And then he's a big boy, big tummy.
Nishiki would be the fan favorite to win due to a G3 victory he'd achieved at the Kyoto High Yonsai Stakes in February. Despite the strong competition, Rudolf proved to the audience just how capable he was to claim victory.
Hi Leah, what a coincidence. You're watching an Uma video. I've been enjoying watching your other reactions to Uma videos. That makes me so happy. I'm so glad that you've been enjoying them. Sorry, I needed a sip of my drink.
In the final spurt of the race, Rudolf advanced to the front of the pack, overtaking Nishiki to solidify his ability to compete in the Triple Crown series. With this upset of the fan favorite, Rudolf will move on to begin his journey for the Triple Crown title. One important thing to note is that up until this point, Okabe, Rudolf's jockey, would also have a history of jockeying Nishiki, from the beginning of his career in 1983 up until the Kyoto High Yonsai Stakes.
So he knows what he's
Okabe,
like.
prior to racing in the Yayoi show, was presented a choice. He had to choose between jockeying Nishiki or Rudolf at the Yayoi show. Okabe chose Rudolf despite Nishiki, at the time,
Aww, I think that's really sweet. Aww. Like, jockeying 2 of the most, like, strong, fast horses.
being evaluated as he's stronger between the two.
Wow.
Okabe's choice to jockey Rudolf will result in Nishiki's owners discarding Okabe as a jockey in the future.
Oh, wow.
Seeing this choice as an act of betrayal. Once more,
I can understand why they would see it that way, but also, jockeys have to make a choice, you know? And he went with the one that he believed in. So, I get why that would be seen as a betrayal, but also I see it from the jockey's point of view as well.
Rudolf would be faced against Baizen Nishiki, this time with much greater stakes on the line. This would mark the first Satsuki show to be held under the new graded system, also ushering in the first year of the Triple Crown series. After Rudolf's victory at the Yayoi show, he was declared as a fan favorite to win. As the race began, Rudolf would hover mid-pack before accelerating after the fourth corner. In doing so, he would once more find himself in the home stretch against Nishiki. Just like
Rudolf
the Yayoi
is.
show, Rudolf would pull ahead of his competitor, finishing the race
never
a whole
mind,
length
not
ahead
anymore.
of Nishiki. This wasn't only a first place finish, but also a record-setting time of 2 minutes.
Well, the jockey made the right decision. A whole length in front as well. Whoa!
1.1 seconds. One important thing to note is the fact that Okabe, despite Rudolph's many victories, hadn't raised a whip on him once.
Aww.
Rudolph was seen as an intelligent horse who understood when to act during crucial moments
That's
in a race.
insane.
Upon claiming victory, Okabe would hold one finger over his head, signifying this was the first of 3 victories to claim the Triple Crown. After
I love
the Satsuki
that
show,
so much.
held on April 5th, 1984,
The
Rudolph
jockey believed in this horse so much. Like putting up a 1 showing it's the first. Aww. That makes me happy. And from what I remember, I think Symboli did actually win all 3. I could be wrong. But from my memory, that's one of the reasons why he went down as like one of the craziest racehorses ever.
would set his sights on the Tokyo Yushun, which would be held on May 27th. At this point in Rudolph's short career, he had already made a name for himself as a fierce and feared competitor. Several racehorses avoided running in the Tokyo Yushun simply because Rudolph was a competitor.
Wow.
As the Tokyo Yushun began, Okabe would later admit in interviews that he was hasty to have Rudolph advance forward during the second leg of the race. Rudolph was hanging in 7th to 8th place over a majority of the race
Ouch.
itself, most likely shaking Okabe, leading to an early command to spurt to avoid a devastating loss. For the first time in his career with Rudolph, Okabe would raise the whip and strike Rudolph to
wow.
command him to move forward. However, despite his jockey's hasty decision, Rudolph would continue to keep his pace. As the racers reached the final turn to the home stretch, Okabe would state that it was as if Rudolph were speaking to him. hold on tight being what he heard. After this moment,
the horse knew what it was doing, which is incredible. Just didn't listen to the whip, was like, nah, listen to me. I know what I'm doing, you don't.
Rudolf would surge from the outside from 7th place all the way to 1st.
Wow.
Much of Rudolph's career isn't shown in the Umamusume anime. However, the Tokyo Yushun is an exception. The Yushun is displayed in Season 2, Episode 1, where we see Tokai Teo, a real-life offspring of Rudolph, observing her second victory in the Triple Crown series.
I remember this when we saw Tokai Teo's story, which honestly I thought was so sweet. So it's really nice hearing about Tokai Teo's story and then hearing about Rudolph's, because just the fact they were related and Teo was looking up to Rudolph just made my heart feel really warm.
Just like in the anime, following this race, Okabe would hold 2 fingers over his head, signifying the second win of the series.
That's crazy, the sheer amount of detail that Rudolph also held a 2 above her head, and then in real life the jockey held a 2 above. Yeah, Rudolph said it was not time yet. The jockey did it early. Could you imagine if all racehorses were that clever? Because imagine if Rudolph did do it early, they might not have won. Which is wild to think about. That horse must have been so clever. A high wit rating for sure.
This victory only left the Kika Show to claim the Triple Crown. Rudolph's calm demeanor, even when all hope seemed lost, taught his jockey a lot about the horse itself. He would later admit that this race in particular would teach him a lot about horse racing.
Wow.
Before racing in the Kika Show, Rudolph would participate in the Saint Light Kinen, a G3 race held on September 30th, 1984. At this point in his career, Rudolph had already displayed a unique aptitude for courses of varying lengths. Despite his first year of racing being on courses ranging from 1,000 to 1,600 meters, Rudolph still managed wins in medium and long distance races, ranging in length from 2,000 to 3,200 meters.
To 3,200? I thought horses tended to have like a specific type of race that they would win, but it seems like Rudolph had a lot of talent in a lot of different areas. Whoa. I mean, it's like a human runner, right? Human runners tend to do a sprint and be very good at it. And then if you put them on a longer track, they would struggle. I mean, it makes sense, right? But Rudolph was able to win both? That is insane to me. What?
Especially due to the lineage Rudolph was from, this was seen as a remarkable feat. It's rare to come across racehorses capable of performing well over all 4 aptitudes on the race course.
It sounds
just like the Sasuke
impossible.
Show, Rudolph wouldn't only win the Satan Light Kinen, but also set a record time of 2 minutes 13.
What? Huh? What the hell? Imagine if Rudolph and Goldchip got together. Imagine the horse that come out of that. Terrifying. Could you imagine a horse that could do anything, but also would have the worst temperament ever? What is the worst temperament? Just the most questionable temperament, I suppose.
1.4 seconds. This would mark Rudolph's 7th consecutive win, retaining his title as an undefeated racehorse, even after claiming 2 of the 3 Triple Crown titles.
Wow.
In the entirety of Japanese horse
racing.
I
find this to be terrifying, this bit of artwork. I don't know. I get it's for the reason, but oh my gosh.
Even before the establishment of the grading system, there hadn't been a single competitor who claimed the Triple Crown without suffering a single loss.
Wow.
Shinzan would suffer a 2nd place finish a month before winning the Kika Show.
I'm not even gonna lie, it took me a second to realize that this was anime. I was like, huh, this looks a bit different.
While Mr. CB would place 2nd a year before competing for the Triple Crown title.
Is that Mr. CB? I didn't know Mr. CB was like part of the Umaverse. Sorry, I don't know what else to call it other than Umaverse, but I feel like it gets my point across.
Saint Light, much like CB and Shinzan.
Whoa, that design is so beautiful. Oh my gosh, the shoes with the flower on. The beautiful ruffles going along the skirt. That design is stunning for that Uma. I know it's like not the point right now, but oh my goodness. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I'm obsessed.
Would also suffer a second place finish prior to claiming the Triple Crown. If the stakes were high at the Tokyo Yushun, they would be even greater at the Kika show. Unlike the Tokyo Yushun, Okabe would enter this race with more confidence, knowing he could rely on Rudolph's racing capabilities.
That's so sweet. But what is the point of having a jockey? It would be funny to see Rudolph run without a jockey. Because honestly, it doesn't really seem like Rudolph needs one. It seems like the Rudolph is telling the jockey off for getting the timings wrong.
During the span of this race, Rudolph would comfortably hang near the front of the pack before the last straight, where he'd break away and secure his first place position. For a moment, it seemed as though a fierce rush to the finish line would take place.
So, to this point, right, unless there's been more that has not been mentioned, has Rudolph ever lost a race up until the point that we're watching? Because it truly doesn't seem like Rudolph has lost yet. Wild.
Place, with Goldway tailing close behind Rudolph. Despite the pressure, Rudolph would break away fully and solidify himself as the fourth horse to claim the Triple Crown title.
Aww.
In addition to this prestigious achievement, Symboli Rudolph would also be the first horse in Japan's history to claim the Triple Crown title undefeated, winning 8 of the total races.
Oh, well, yeah. First place. Oh my god. And you can see grass 1,000 meters, 1,600 twice, 2,000, 2,400, 3,000. All this time undefeated. Whoa. Could you imagine being the jockey? Just every single time getting a win. Wow.
He'd enter over the span of his career. To further emphasize how impressive this achievement was, at the time of writing the script in 2025, there would only be 2 racehorses to achieve the same victory.
2? Only 2? And that was back in, gosh, please correct me, I believe, oh, it says that, I was going to say 1980 to 1990, but yeah. 1984 until now, that is, well, if I round it up to 1985, that is 40 years ago. Well, 41 approximately years ago, right? And only 2 within that entire time have been able to get that.
These horses being Deep Impact in 2005 and Contrail in 2020.
What a sick name, Deep Impact. That's just like an aura farming name for that horse, right?
To win the Triple Crown series is an impressive...
Yeah, bro pulled up and said I'd win and won just like that. Crazy.
...feat in itself. But it is nearly unheard of to win without suffering a single loss at all in a horse's career. With the win of the 3rd Triple Crown race under their belt, Okabe would confidently hold up.
What do you do after that as a horse rider? Like, what else is there for that horse to win? Because that's like the biggest of the best. And this horse, number one, has not ever been defeated. Completely undefeated. Second of all, no injuries as far as I've been made aware. No, like, you know, notable injuries. So what do you do? Does the horse just go to retirement and live happily for the rest of its life? No, probably race some more before then.
3 fingers following the win at the Kika show.
Oh, yeah!
Solidifying
the 3 fingers! That is so sweet. Oh.
Establishment of Japan's 4th Triple Crown winner. Following the Kika show, Rudolph would put himself to the test. As his owners had displayed a year prior at the open race in Tokyo, it was time for Rudolph to show the world what he was capable of.
Oh, hell
yeah.
yeah.
On November 25th, 1984, Symboli Rudolph would participate in the Japan Cup. It would be at this international race where Rudolf would face some of the strongest horses in his career. Two notable
I
names.
mean, Japan Cup is the best of the best, right? From, I forgot which countries, but Japan and other countries, as well.
Names being Mr. CB, the previous year's Triple Crown victor, and Katsuragi Ace.
Ooh.
Ace, although not a Triple Crown racehorse, was a fierce
Ace looks really cool. I love the little head decoration. Very pretty.
competitor in his own regard, having secured several victories over the span of his career.
Wow, first place, first. Came fourth and fifth a few times, but wow. I was gonna say seems to do better on shorter tracks potentially, but no, probably just who they're up against.
Career leading up to the Japan Cup, he had clear potential to give Rudolf a challenge. Ace's style of running was very similar to that of Silent Suzuka, a horse covered in one of my
Aww.
previous videos. A runaway method style of racing, running at full speed from the start to finish at the front of the pack.
Wow.
With such a strong lineup of Japanese competitors, hopes were also very high to have Japan secure a victory for the first time since the race's establishment. Since the Japan Cup's creation in 1981, Japan had suffered consecutive losses from foreign competitors. Even though Rudolf fought hard in this
That must be really hard, like putting together a Japan Cup competition and not winning it yet, but could you imagine when the first Japanese horse wins that? How nice that would be.
race, he'd unfortunately suffer the first loss of his career.
Oh.
Even though Rudolf had a bad temperament while in the stables, being nicknamed as the Lion, Rudolf was a horse who
Lion.
normally had a calm temperament on the racecourse, being able to remain composed even in critical situations. Even so, after suffering this defeat, Rudolf would show clear irritation at his first loss.
Oh wow.
Even though he didn't place first, it's still remarkable that Rudolf finished third in a race against the world's strongest competitors. The Kika show was held only 2 weeks prior to the Japan Cup, giving Rudolf little time to recover for such a critical race.
That might be.
Though Katsuragi Ace isn't in the Umamusume
You would have thought, especially due to one of the biggest races, they would give the horse slightly more time to recover. Because it must be very strenuous on the horse's body as well. Having to undergo so many races, especially at long lengths and very high speeds.
anime, she is present in the game, where she both looks up to Rudolf.
Wait, was that a recap? Having a little... Wait, I need to go back. I don't know where it was.
Finished third
I
in a
swear I
race
saw
against the world's
Oguri in the
strongest
background
competitors.
eating
The
food.
Kika show was held only 2 weeks
I gotta
prior
find
to the
this.
Japan
I have
Cup,
to.
giving Rudolf little time to recover
I don't know how
for
to
such a critical
scroll upwards.
race. Though
Make it
Katsuragi
shorter.
Ace
It was somewhere here.
isn't in the
Hold on.
Umamusume
Maybe I need
anime,
to...
she is present in the
No, no,
game
not
where-
that. No, I missed it again. No. How do I? Can I like? Oh, I don't know how to go. back.
anime. She is
Hold
present
on.
in the
I'm
game.
so. There we are. Can you see Oguri with her cheeks full of food and holding like 4 different? Holding like 4 different. I don't know what they are. Like hot dogs or something. I'm not too sure. They could be churros, but look at her. That's so funny. Oh my god, look at her with her little cheeks full. She looks like a chipmunk.
Where she both looks up to Rudolf and CB as inspirations, but also as rivals. Impressively, Ace would hold first place for a majority of the race, his front running style showing clear domination of speed and power with this victory. There wasn't much time to wallow in defeat though. Only a month following the Japan Cup, the Arima Kinen would be held.
Oh.
Originally, Rudolf's
Only
trainer
a
had no
month
plans
after.
of entering him in this race. However, one sudden announcement would change that.
It's really cute how he has like one little white sock. None of the other feet have socks. Just one little white sock.
Decision. Katsuragi Ace's owners would announce his retirement after
Oh,
competing in the Arima
wow.
Kinen. We've seen before instances of rivals suddenly retiring and the whole left with never being able to overcome past defeats. A prime example being Jungle Pocket with Agnes Tachyon. Due to this
I
sudden
don't know much about Jungle Pocket, but I love the name. Jungle Pocket is very sweet. Oguri being a normal sports fan. Yeah, literally just sat there munching away on the food.
Announcement, and seeking revenge for the Japan Cup's defeat, Symboli Rudolf would be registered to race in the 1984 Arima Kinen. Once more, just like the Japan Cup, Rudolf, Ace, and CB would be put against one another. Many spectators saw this as a continuation of the Japan Cup race, with 3 of the strongest.
I love how he's called Mr. CB, and then this cute little girly anime like horse shows up. Mr. CB, the cutest horse.
Racehorses of their generation being put against one another. Throughout the entirety of the race, Rudolf kept a close mark on Ace, and on the final straight, would accelerate, surpassing Ace and claiming a victory at the Arima Kinen.
Whoa.
This would also mark another record time set by Rudolf, finishing the race.
One other thing I just love about the anime and just generally the horse girl designs is... Oh, sorry.
At 2 minutes 32.8 seconds.
I might have to go back.
A loss in the previous race, surpassing record time set by Rudolf.
How? They have the little horseshoes on the bottom of the shoe. I think it's so sweet. I also love it when cosplayers be sure to add it as well. I've seen a few people like getting actual blacksmiths to like make the horseshoe and then gluing it to the bottom of the shoe. I think it's really funny. I like it a lot. And when people are walking, you can hear like the little clip clop. Oh, that reminded me when I was younger. I used to have a horse plush that I loved so much, and it was called Clippity, because, you know, when a horse walks, it sounds like clippity clop.
Rudolf, finishing the race at 2 minutes 32.8 seconds. A loss in the previous month had only pushed Rudolf and his handlers to strive for even greater achievements in the future. Following this victory, Rudolf would end the year of 1984 with the Triple Crown title, and only one loss in his career. Now, for many horses we cover in these videos, normally that would be the end of our story. Rudolf would either retire or become a breeding stud.
I thought that was what was going to happen.
This is the Emperor we're talking about here, and we still need to cover the race that gave him that title.
What?
Entering the year of 1980.
I thought it was the fact that this dude did the Arima Kinen. Like, and the Triple Crown was the fact that he got the title. Oh my gosh! What happened to Kippity? We still have him. He's put very safely on top of my old wardrobe because he is very fragile now. Just due to his age.
1985, Rudolf would compete in 6 total races. Coming off such a dominating year that was 1984, expectations were high to see more victories from the public. On March 31st, he'd compete in the first race of the year, the Nikkei Show, a G2 graded race. Starting the year strong, Rudolf would seize yet another victory, making his overall record at this time 10-1. Following the Nikkei Show, Rudolf would race in the Spring Tenno Show, claiming another victory in his 3rd year of racing. At this point, Rudolf was displaying his strong presence on the race course once more. However, in Rudolf's race history, one particular race would stand out. Following the Spring Tenno Show held on April 29th, Rudolf would be set to race on June 2nd at the Takarazuka Kinen. There isn't any placement record for this race though, with Rudolf being scratched from the competition.
Wait, what?
A day before the Takarazuka Kinen, while training at the Hashin racecourse, Rudolf would slip due to the mud that had newly formed on the track. Due to this, Rudolf would suffer a shoulder injury and Okabe's slight bruising from being thrown from the fall. Though his handlers expected a speedy recovery following the cancellation of the Takarazuka Kinen, a new problem would quickly arise.
Oh gosh.
Rudolf began experiencing muscle pains along with his shoulder injury, and to make matters worse, the process in order to treat his injuries would be painful for the racehorse. At the risk of retirement, Rudolph's owners would authorize a treatment utilizing fine needles to aid with muscle stimulation,
this is
as well as extracting infected
acupuncture
blood
style,
riddled with
right?
bacteria. This method of recovery was a gamble in itself, but luckily, Rudolf would eventually...
Oh, that sucks. It hurts so much, the fact that, like, one tiny fall can hurt these horses so much, and the rehabilitation is so strenuous and painful for them too. It just feels really unfair. Look at that coat, though. It's so shiny.
Recover, aiming to participate in the remaining G1 races of 1985. On October 27, 1985, Rudolf would enter the Autumn Tenno show.
Now I know that Symboli is called the Emperor. The outfit makes so much more sense now. Like, it is very much so giving Emperor.
Having won the Spring Tenno show, he was highly expected to claim yet another victory. Just like the Japan Cup, this race would result in Rudolf's second loss of his career. One interesting thing to note is the fact that, despite Rudolf's many victories, his defeats were discussed much more in the racing world.
Really?
Rudolf was such a strong competitor. However, his losses were very infrequent and always at high-stake races. The Japan Cup against the world's strongest competitors, and the Autumn Tenno show.
I mean, it makes sense, especially Japan Cup being put against some of, you know, the strongest horses in the whole world. And especially, you know, after an injury as well, it makes sense why Symboli would, you know, probably not perform the best he ever has done.
Where he would have set yet another record if he'd placed first. Up until this point, no racehorse had ever claimed back-to-back victories at the Spring and Autumn Tenno show. It wouldn't be until Tamamo Cross's career in 1988 that the record will be set. This thought of not only becoming the first Japanese racehorse to win the Japan Cup, but also the possibility of being the first horse to win back-to-back victories at the Tenno shows, left a lot of expectation on the table for Symboli Rudolf.
That's a lot of stress.
Following the Autumn Tenno show, that would be the exact race that Rudolf would participate.
Yeah, I can't believe, oh my gosh, maybe that is why there was a crazy nurse, you know, doing acupuncture in the game. I don't know, maybe it could have been related, because I didn't quite realize that horses could get acupuncture, and I always thought that event was quite random, but I just thought it was, you know, for a laugh, but maybe it was kind of due to the fact that, I mean, I'm assuming Symboli's not the only one to actually get acupuncture. And the fact it can go wrong, or it could go right, and, you know, help the horse. That's wild! I never put that together until you said in the chat. Whoa!
Paid in next. A month following the Tenno show, on November 25th, 1985, Symboli Rudolf would once more take to the racecourse, facing off against the strongest from around the world once again.
God.
The pressure was not only there for Rudolf to redeem himself from last year's defeat, but now...
Oh, I didn't know that a horse could enter themselves in Japan Cup and also do it the next year, but that's great.
To also continue
I really
the win
hope
streak Katsuragi
that
Ace had established
Symboli
a year prior.
wins.
Both Ace and CB wouldn't be participating in this race, leaving the door wide open for Rudolf to rise to claim Japan's second victory at this race. Unsurprisingly, Rudolf would be set as the overall fan favorite to win, with
That's a
Golden
lot
Ivory
of
from the
pressure
United
after an
States
injury,
being the
but
second
yeah.
favorite overall. Once more, at the final stretch of the race, Rudolf would surge ahead of his competition, claiming victory as the second racehorse in Japanese history to win the Japan Cup title.
Aww,
this not only was monumental after a crushing defeat
sweet.
at the Autumn Tenno show, but also would earn Symboli Rudolf the nickname of Emperor. Rudolf had not only claimed the Triple Crown title without any losses at the time, but also would stand atop of the world's strongest at the 1985 Japan Cup.
That is insane.
These back-to-back victories also hold a great significance in Japanese horse racing history, instilling faith that Japanese-bred horses could contest the strongest from around the world. Funnily enough, Rudolf was such a strong competitor that betting tickets in his favor were commonly referred to as bank tickets, with those betting on Rudolf knowing that it wasn't a gamble whatsoever, but a guaranteed payout instead. A presence so strong that victory was deemed absolute. A commercial which aired—
I mean, he only lost, I'm trying to remember whether it was 2 or 3 races. I'm thinking 2. Yeah, but could you imagine betting on that horse the one time it lost and you're like, how could this happen?
Aired in 2013 by the GRA would use Rudolf as an example to highlight the Japan Cup held that year. it would state the following message. The 1985 Japan Cup. A man once said, "There are no absolutes in horse racing, but that horse is an exception. A horse whose 3 defeats make you want to speak more than his many victories."
Wow.
Symboli Rudolf, the eternal emperor. That autumn, Japan had reached the world. Conquer the globe. This was showcased that even decades after Rudolph's retirement, his impact and legacy would still stand strong as the years progressed. Following the victory at the Japan Cup, Rudolf would participate in his second Arima Kinen on December 22, 1985. Due to this being Rudolph's last race in Japan, the goal was simple.
Last race?
It wasn't just to win, but to show the audience a sheer display of power that Rudolf possessed.
Whoa.
Okabe didn't mark any competitors this time around, instead trusting in Rudolf to show the audience a true spectacle of horse racing. Ending off a dominating legacy, Rudolf would win his second Arima Kinen, ending his career in Japan with sheer dominance. Over the span of his career in Japan,
a lot
Rudolf
as well.
would be registered for a total of 16 races, placing first in 13, second and third.
It makes me realize just how insane the amount of races that Haru did comparatively. I just thought, oh, it's normal for, a horse to do like 100 races in their career. And then I see stuff like this. And I think, wow. Oh, I thought Symboli did way worse than third, the way people were talking. Oh my goodness. So Symboli never came less than third? Oh no. 16 registered races. But I'm pretty sure one of them the horse wasn't able to do, right?
Third and 1, and having to withdraw from
Yeah,
the top
had to withdraw.
Kinen. With such a strong legacy established in Japan, Rudolph's new aim was to take on the world.
Whoa,
in
really?
1986, Rudolf would aim to compete in the L'Arc de Triomphe.
Is that
Evidently,
in France?
Rudolph's owners at the Symboli Ranch wanted to rake in more profits that came with Rudolph's victories. Against the request of Rudolph's trainer, Yuji Nohira, Rudolf would be registered to race in the San Luis Race Stakes held in the United States.
Oh my goodness!
Nohira was concerned of having Rudolf race in such close succession to traveling and undergoing rigorous.
Yeah, I was gonna say that going all that way must be really hard on the horse. Especially if they're, going by ship or going by plane. Must be a lot for the horse to go through.
Training. This lack of self-awareness for Rudolph's well-being would come to backfire on the
Yeah, I
owners
don't
of the
know why
Symboli
they
Ranch,
wouldn't
with
care.
Rudolf placing 6th at the San Luis Race Stakes. Rudolf would be injured in this race, suffering from a sudden outbreak of ligamentitis. Had Rudolf been properly trained,
I don't understand why they would do it in such close succession. That doesn't feel fair on the horse, especially it's going to be exhausted and injure itself. Surely it would be best to, I don't know, maybe not retire the horse there, but at least be aware that it's been through a lot in its life and not force it to compete in such close succession to traveling as well.
in condition, we would have seen one of the greatest races in history. Symboli Rudolf versus Dancing Brave, an extremely strong racehorse from America who won the L'Arc de Triomphe in 1986. Sirius Symboli, a horse from the same ranch as Rudolf, would compete in Rudolph's stead, placing a devastating 14th in the L'Arc de Triomphe.
Ouch!
After returning to Japan, Symboli Rudolf would celebrate his retirement with his handlers holding a ceremony for him on December 7, 1986.
He should have been able to retire before these races. Like, he already had done things beyond what many racehorses would ever accomplish in Japan. But it feels like they just wanted to make even more money out of this horse and did not care for its overall well-being as much as they should have, and put the horse through unnecessary pain and unnecessary, long hours of traveling as well.
As Rudolf walked amidst the crowd, he could be seen wearing the 7 Crowns number, signifying the wins over his career.
Aww.
A year after this event took place, Symboli Rudolf would be inducted to the JRA Hall of Fame for the sheer dominance that his career displayed in Japan.
Is this bit, hold on, sorry. This bit here, is that just his fur being fur? Fur? Is it called fur with the horse coat? Is that just it being white? Because I've never seen that before. It looks like he's bald. But I'm assuming this area is just his coloration.
They're displayed in Japan. In retirement, Symboli Rudolf would become a breeding stud.
Also, can I just say, this neck is so long. Oh my gosh, bro's neck is so long. I don't know, there's something about it bent down just makes me giggle.
Produced several strong offspring, the most notable being Tokai Teo,
Of course.
who I've also done a video about if you'd like to check that out. Rudolf would enjoy visitors and retirement life until 2011, where he would pass away at the age of 30. This is also notable.
30? Oh my gosh! That's very much so at the upper end for a horse. Whoa! 30! That's a long old life for a horse.
Due to just how long Rudolf lived, and even in retirement, still maintaining a sharp physique.
Aww.
Horses normally live till their mid-20s,
yeah,
making Rudolf's title as emperor hold much more value even in his retirement. Rudolf's legacy still holds its weight even in modern day, with many regarding him as one of the strongest horses to ever emerge from Japan. So let me ask you this simple question. After listening to this extensive history of our beloved emperor, wouldn't you like to see an Umamusume anime season dedicated to him?
Oh, I would love to.
There's many Umas who surround Rudolph that could be given the spotlight as well, such as Katsuragi Ace and Mr. CB.
That would be really cool to see. I mean, I haven't watched the whole anime yet. I'm trying to eke it out a little, because I don't want to run out of anime to watch, because it will make me very sad. So I'm somebody who never watches anime in one go. I do it over a course of months because otherwise I'd be sad if there's no more Uma to watch.
Even though Rudolph's career ended with a crushing defeat, his legacy remains as one of the strongest in Japan. This was the story of Symboli Rudolf,
Aww.
a racehorse who showed sheer strength against the world's strongest, personified in Umamusume as the Emperor of Tracen Academy.
That's
the ideal,
so sweet.
The pinnacle of the racing world.
Aww.
Did you enjoy this video?
Thank you so much for watching this with me. Learning about Symboli's history and why he was called the Emperor was amazing. Please be sure to subscribe as well if you want to see future videos. Well, video reactions like this. Oh, that was so cool, dude.